Alright, I'm gonna help you out because I had the same issue when I tried making his ears. What you'll want to do is when doing the foam, you want to do the ears so they're stood up. Once you have your stood up foam ears, you want to go a certain way down and trim the top of the foam ear off. I went about that far down, but it depends what look you want. I also did it slanted. And this will allow this part to hang over. And then what you want to do is put coins or something heavy and weighted in the tip of the ears so that they're actually bouncy. But yeah, hope this helps.
I'm gonna be seasick. These orphan tears are about to make me trip.
Little children near and far don't know where your parents are. Cry directly in this jar. I will drink it at the bar. Sippin' on orphan tears. Sippin' on orphan tears. Sippin' on orphan tears.
Mirror. All the pretty girls walk like this, 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 this. Pretty girls.
Part 2 of making a kimono head base. I carved out the back of the flat piece off camera, and now I cut a piece of 1-inch upholstery foam into the rough shape I want the profile to be. I then glue the profile piece into a groove I carved into the flat piece. I also use 1-inch upholstery foam to round out the top of the head. I cut a wedge off each side of the rounded pieces as they were too long. Keep your scraps, you can reuse them later. I cut off more of the back of the flat piece, and then cut the side of the mouth where it connects to the jaw on both sides. I put 2 pieces of 1/2-inch foam the same shape as the muzzle profile on off-screen. Using the wedges I cut earlier, I shaped them to make the bottom jaw. The muzzle looks a little short, so I used the scrap I had from carving out the inside to pad it out. The muzzle needs to fit a fan, so I carve it out. Even without a fan, this improves airflow. At this point, it will be starting to look like a base. Don't worry if it's not perfectly symmetrical. More in part 3.
What is the biggest innovation in fursuit making in 2024? The artist for Yuku costumes created digigrade legs printed in flexible plastic. Normally, legs like this are created by hand by painstakingly carving foam into shape, a process that can take days. But by using thermoplastic polyurethane, also known as TPU, along with the 3D printer can result in a soft and squishy print. This elastic plastic can be combined with 3D modeling to print out a flexible and soft version of just about anything you can think of. For example, the fursuit maker Latin Vixen has created these ears using a TPU and 3D printer. Not only are these ears faster to make than by hand, they also create a more realistic result. This innovation could remove some of the challenges new fursuit makers make when creating their own costumes. This could mean in the future fursuits will be cheaper, easier, and faster to make. But what do you think? Is this the future of fursuit making or just a passing fad?
Fursuit making tip. I use car mats for the bottom. It's way more durable than the soft foam mats commonly used. It also takes to glue very well. And here have one legging.
I've been making fursuits for around 2 years now, so here's some things I've learned that can help some beginner makers out there. Starting off with cheaper materials like minky or fleece alongside a little bit of fur for your first fursuit is a great idea if you're a beginner maker. Not only is it cheaper, but it takes away that risk of spending a ton on luxury fur that you may potentially mess up with. My first ever fursuit had a fleece face, and after I made her, I had the know-how and confidence to start using faux fur more. Pre-made patterns are also a great way to learn. There's a whole variety of different fursuit patterns on Etsy that you can choose from, like head-based patterns to feet paws. There really is a lot. Going back to the material side of things, it's always good to overestimate what you'll need. If you don't order enough and run out, there's potential you'll be spending more money due to shipping costs, especially if you're required to pay import tax. And lastly, lower your expectations. This sounds really rude, but your first ever fursuit might not turn out great. But that's absolutely fine, and I know it's easier said than done, but don't let this demotivate you. In just under 2 years of making, I've went from making fursuits like this to fursuits like this. And if I can make that improvement, so can you.
Item must-haves for fursuit making. Sewing tracing wheel. Doesn't leave a mark like chalk does. Fabric clips.
I love fabric clips.
Ho ho ho! Hair brush cleaner. Helps hide seams and cleans brush.
That's all, please follow.
I wanted to share these videos from my fursuit maker, Twisted Thorns. I commissioned him to make my fursuit Equinox, and he made some videos about the features, which are super cool. So firstly, the ears are TPU, they're bendy, they're wiggly, and they are actually zip on and zip off, which is really, really cool feature. That means for storage, traveling, you can zip the ears off and tuck them away. Also, there is an ear hole for ventilation, and the eyes are removable as well, which I have a feature for my suits too. And the tongue is as well. Equinox has a hidden zipper and adjustable straps in the back, so you can get the perfect fit for it if you ever need to adjust anything. And she has hidden pockets on the inside, which I've used to store eyelids, and a tracker as well on the sides, so that way if she ever goes up missing for whatever reason, I will always know where she's at. He's going to show more of the lining next up, but this is just a demonstration of the hidden pockets on the side. So here's a better look at the inner lining. There are holes where your human ears sit for comfort, and ear vent holes up top. There's a little bit of a better look at the strap. The chin rest also is magnetic and comes out, so that's a really awesome feature for comfort. Here's a closer look at the ear vents and the eye holes. Next up, he's going to show us more about the eyes themselves. The way that they're made is that he made some screw holes, so you could replace the mesh instead of replacing the whole eye if you wanted to, which I think is a very cool feature. And that way, you can just swap out the mesh if it ever gets damaged. It's not super convenient if you were going to do it on the fly, but it does give you the option to swap out the mesh.